Meeting of this new year. We all ready to go? All righty, we got a yes. All righty. Jen, if we could have a roll call, 3.1
Rich Carnation,
here.
Bill Adams,
Here.
Stephanie Ahmad,
Here.
Malinali Lopez,
Present.
Paul Cagorno,
Here.
Liam Ryan. Which way round am I?
Oh,
There you go.
here.
And Tegan McCoy.
Here.
Thank you. Superintendent Decker, anything to report out of closed session? Nope. All righty. 3.3, flag salute, everybody.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, moving to 3.4, staff recognition. Pete?
Oh, we moved it on.
Actually, yeah.
Sorry, Rich made a asked if we could.
Moved it up.
Oh.
And by the way, if anybody, so I printed out my earlier one and then we've changed some things and then some things were added. So if I say something out of order, somebody feel free to. Nope, I got the newer one.
Oh,
So we're good, but just in case I'm still out of order on something.
I printed that out.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Jen said she sent it to you.
The one that's on the.
So while we're waiting, I was going to do this in part of our staff things while Brian's looking that up. But the girls volleyball team, they are having a Mary's Pizza, all you can eat, order whatever fundraiser. So it's 6:10. You guys got an hour and 50 minutes for all the people that are at home watching. And I know you're out there because you send us little love letters. It's not too late for you to order. They'll deliver it to you and you can eat it and help the volleyball team at the same time. Thank you. All right, Pete.
Thank you very much.
He scratched that.
Nice to see you all this evening. We get to start by celebrating a staff member who's been with us since 2008. He's had students who have come through our district, and he is a phenomenal crossing guard for Windsor Middle School, Carlo Piscatello. Carlo is phenomenal. He has great relationships with kids. Clearly, he enjoys his job. He doesn't mind clowning around and making things fun. And I thought it would be a great way to start off the year by celebrating somebody who contributes a ton. He has put in a lot of time. He has been with the district since 2008 as a crossing guard. That is one of the most consistent people in our district. So, and I really appreciate Carlo, not only as a staff member, but as a human. He's just a fantastic person. So what I hope to do is celebrate him both at the first staff meeting of Windsor Middle School, but also Sue Bellotti is also in that picture. She is a sub for us and has been a sub for our district for many, many years. She suggested that I come out and celebrate him during the crossing guard duties so the kids can celebrate him. So I'm going to try and get that done as well. So when I get that scheduled, I will let you all know so you can come out and clap for him with all the kids as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Pete. Actually, I asked Jen to move that up because normally everybody's at the meeting in the very beginning and then people start to sometimes leave. I was like, staff recognition should be like the focal point where everybody's here the most and whatever. So anyhow, all right, thank you. Moving to 3.5, public comment on non-agendized items. Is there anybody in the audience who has something that's not on the agenda?
Mi nombre es David Douglas. Yo fui un líder en el movimiento luchando por justicia por el joven Andy López, quien fue asesinado por el sheriff del condado de Sonoma Eric Gelhaus. He organizado por los derechos civiles y los derechos de los inmigrantes en todo el país por 15 años. Soy una águila orgullosa en Cali Calmeca, trabajando en el equipo quien mantienen las escuelas limpias y sanas. Soy el nuevo representante del sindicato CSEA en la escuela. Estamos en negociaciones con el distrito sobre un nuevo contrato. Demandamos un aumento justo en esta economía racista de Donald Trump por la culpa de su guerra imperialista contra el pueblo de Irán. El superintendente Jeremy Decker de este distrito gana casi $350,000 al año, incluyendo beneficios, y es un insulto que ustedes solamente nos dieron un aumento de 48 centavos. Y tenemos maestras y trabajadores pagando casi $1,300 al mes para el seguro médico para ellos y su familia. Pero peor de Jeremy Decker está diciendo que va a venir a las escuelas para abrir las puertas para que entren los matones nazi Gestapo agentes de ICE para secuestrar a los niños. No vamos a permitir esto. Demandamos que ustedes declaran este distrito santuario para inmigrantes que no van a cooperar ni colaborar con la migra. El presidente de este consejo, Rich Bull Connor Carnation, es un millonario, es un miembro del partido fascista republicano de Donald Trump. Él tiene que resignar o ser removido. Estamos preparados para ir a huelga, para ganar lo que merecemos. Demandamos que este distrito pague 100% de nuestro seguro médico. La mayoría de nuestros estudiantes son latinas, latinos, quien tienen padres inmigrantes. Luchamos por ellos, por su bienestar y por libros nuevos y materiales nuevos para todos los estudiantes. Trump para afuera. Acabemos con el estado policial fascista de Trump. Abolamos a ICE. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Is there anybody else that would like to speak in public comment? All righty. Thank you. Moving on to 3.6, report from student board members Tegan and Liam.
Meet your WSD student school board trustees. I'm William Ryan. I'm in the debate club at Windsor High School. I'm a former Windsor High School site council member. I'm in the AP Corps. My interests include philosophy, history, political analysis, and more. And I like to read in my free time, with my two favorite books being Dune and 1984.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tegan McCoy. I am very excited to be a student member on the school board this year. So a little bit about me is I am the Scoliosis Awareness Club founder and president at Windsor High School. Having had scoliosis myself and having surgery to correct it, I brought that to my school through my club. So it's super exciting. We have around 24 members this year, which is 6 more than we had last year. I'm also the ASB Public Relations officer, so that entails bringing the public of Windsor to Windsor High School, which this position is a great way for me to kind of pull information to the school and to the leadership program. So it's great. And then I'm also the senior class secretary, so I do secretarial duties for leadership or for the senior class at Windsor. Then I'm moving jobs. So I currently work in retail, but I'm moving to work at Machado Burgers in Larkfield. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, it's good. Have you guys been?
today at lunch.
Did you really?
In Windsor, though, I was trying to
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
the sales
Bring the
tax here.
coupons, Tegan.
Coupons. Yeah, it's really good. You guys should go. I work the Larkfield location, but I had my second day on Sunday, so it's been fun. It's been great. Yeah, and then I'm in AP Core alongside Liam, although we're in different days, which I love AP Core. It's great. And then some of my hobbies, I enjoy shopping, reading, and schoolwork. I actually like doing my homework. So yeah.
So some announcements about Maddie Washburn Elementary. They have an open campus from 4 to 6 p.m. on August 12th, which allows families and students to familiarize themselves with campus. There's TK Orientation Day from 6 to 7 p.m. on August 11th. Maddie's youngest students, it's a opportunity for their parents to come meet teachers and school officials. And there is a K through 2 open house from 6 to 7 p.m. on August 20th, which will showcase classrooms and student work, and families will be able to come in and receive brief presentations.
Next up for Brooks Elementary. So similar to many of the other schools to be reported, they have a back to school night on September 3rd. So that's upcoming from 5 to 6:30 p.m. The idea for that is to just display those specialty classes, so like art classes, fun electives, and also English and history classes. And then there will be other class presentations for parents and families to familiarize themselves with the classroom setting and the work some of the students have been doing so far.
Next up, Windsor Middle School. On August 19th, they're having back to school night, which will display to parents the classes that their students are taking and give them the opportunity to visit the classrooms that their students are learning in. And this also allows them the chance to meet teachers and school officials. And then there's the back to school dance on September 11th, where students will be able to familiarize themselves with each other.
And then for Cali, so we have an upcoming orientation. Well, since it's upcoming, then maybe not an orientation, but they have their picture day on September 12th. So they'll be able to take their yearbook photos, which is exciting. And then they have their welcome back rally on this Friday, August 21st, which will be during school hours, so 1:30 to 2:45 p.m. And so it'll get students excited about the upcoming school year. It'll also display some activities and sports, which will be exciting for students to participate in during the school day.
As for Windsor Oaks Academy and BPL, they will have jam on Thursday and Friday. And this will be get to know you activities. And then there'll be a barbecue. And then there's Leaving to Learn on August 17th with Ryan's Automotive, same day class presentation on farms. And then Diaz Construction will be guest speaking. And they are consistent at taking interns for BPL and can teach plumbing, electrical, and basic framework to students.
And then for Bridges, so Bridges is our special education program. It allows students with disabilities to get familiarized with life after high school while being in high school. So it's a great opportunity for our students. So although they have not had any official events yet, their community is getting busy. So they have been establishing their routines for the school year, which has been great for them to get familiar with one another. There's some new students coming in, and then they've been preparing for their community outings. So this goes into the beginning partnerships. So Bridges goes on weekly outings to various organizations through Windsor. So that'll be Oliver, CVS, the Windsor Tech team, like they're working with the Windsor Tech team, and then the different parks in Windsor. So it's a great way for these students to get connected to the community and familiar with going out through the community.
And for Sakova, there will be online learning through Edgenuity with over 60 students already enrolled.
All right. And lastly, for Windsor High School, you can see a photo of myself on the slide. So I'll just go in order. But first, we had our orientation August 7th. So that was exciting. We got to take our yearbook photos. We received our class schedules. This was the Friday before school started, going into the week. And then seniors were able to purchase their senior parking spots, which was exciting. So painting is this upcoming Saturday, painting our spots. So it's super exciting. And then the leadership workshop. So this is specific to leadership students. The photos in the slide you can see. So that is a photo of myself and my partner for ASB Public Relations, Jackson Diaz. And then in between us is our Mayor of Windsor, Rosa Reynosa. Oh, she's right there. Okay. Yeah. So it was so much fun. So she was able to come and speak at our event, which was amazing. We have a little group photo on the bottom, but it was amazing. She talked about professionalism, what it means to be a leader. And I think it was really great for the kids to be able to actually see a leader in their community and get real, like just to hear a real perspective on how it really is to be a leader in a community. So it was great for our students. We're still talking about it. It was amazing. Yeah. And then next, our senior sunrise. This will be September 2nd, which is tentative. It may change, but as of now, the date we have is September 2nd. So this is for the seniors to come on the football field, 7:30 a.m., get some free coffee, donuts, and bond as a class, super fun. And then lastly, some athletics. We have our first home football game. Technically, it's actually a scrimmage, but it's versus Annalee this Friday, August 21st. Super exciting. JV is at 4:30 and then varsity is at 7. So we're obviously super excited for that. Make sure you show out to our game on Friday. And that concludes our presentation on reports for the schools throughout the district. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys very much.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a question about what they're interested in.
Yeah. Hey guys, Bill's got a question.
Yeah, we only get to confer together when we're up here at the dais because of the Brown Act. I'd be curious, just as you all look towards the school year, what particular kind of interests do you have, areas you'd like to look in on the activities of the school district, our students? Some of your predecessors were involved in surveys or reaching out to younger leaders. I know we've talked separately at the end of the school year about participating in the Measure J campaign committee. While we have you here, if you have your thought about that, what are some things you'd like to explore or maybe get to know a little bit more about as our fellow leaders up here as one of the 7 trustees?
Well, I mean, I haven't really thought about that much, but I would like to bring more surveys in and then add the data in as a part of the presentation that we have to the school board each month.
Yeah, I think that's where Liam and I differ. He's more like statistical. I'm more like, I don't know, we're like different in that way, but I'm excited to get out and just connect with the students and also the teachers. I know both of us are definitely planning on going to certain events throughout the school. We've connected with Big Picture Learning. They have a like salsa, I forget what it's called, like a salsa something, but it's like connecting. So we're excited to go. I think we're just ready to go to events and actually see the students and their environment so we can kind of convey more up here what they're really doing. This was a really superficial report, but hopefully we can kind of get immersed into their environment more. So we're excited to do that through going to the events that are being held by those schools.
Great. Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Thanks, Bill. 3.7, adjustments to the agenda. Are there any adjustments anybody would like to need to make? All righty. 3.8, superintendent's report. Jeremy?
All right, thank you. So welcome back to our school year, and we had to throw some pictures up here, especially this little guy who seems very excited to be coming to school in the middle. I was able to get around to all the school sites except for the high school. They don't care if I'm there. But the rest of the school sites, I got to go over to Maddie Washburn and Callie and Brooks in the middle school, and it was great. Got in a lot of classrooms. A lot of good energy on the first day of school. Great time of year. So just some fun pictures. Some more. Just throw that one in there, Pete, because how can you not throw a unicorn with a stop sign in there twice?
Is that a cow?
So I'm going to just let you know that Measure J is on the ballot. That's our school bond. I'll give you a little bit of information around what the voters would be deciding upon in November. So the need is most of our schools were built more than 40 years ago. A lot of the infrastructure is reaching the end of its useful life. Especially we have underground pipes and a lot of gas. Well, no, we have gas leaks, but we have potentially compromised gas lines that could turn into leaks. We definitely just had a major repair with a water leak over at Boys and Girls Club and the middle school, which ended up costing over $28,000. We also, a big one, we have 52 portables that are over 20 years old. We have 82 portables in all, but 52 of those 82 are over 20 years old, and that's beyond the shelf life that a portable is supposed to live. In fact, I think 13 of those portables were installed in 1989 at Brooks. Last year, 2 years ago, actually, when we measured after a rain, we had over 70 roof leaks. Many of those roof leaks are in portables. And we've assessed every classroom through a facilities master plan, and the needs were around $122.5 million based on that facilities plan. So just so everybody understands how education is funded in California, Austin's trained me up pretty good. It says 39%, but really the easy way to remember is 40% of the state budget goes to education. No matter if that budget's big or if it's small, 40% is going to come to us. I say all of that because a lot of times when we're talking about bonds, people wonder, well, why can't you just use the budget that you're given to pay for all the buildings that you have? And it's because that simply isn't how California allocates their money. So if you look at our budget, about half is considered restricted and half is unrestricted. An example of a restricted budget would be Jessica's budget for preschool. So there's $3.2 million. That $3.2 million can only be spent on preschool. Or you have food service. There's a food service budget. It can only be spent on food service. The other half of the house is unrestricted budget. And that is kind of what you would imagine, we pay for teachers out of, or our principals or our custodians. And when you look at the breakdown of the unrestricted budget, that big blue is all the salaries and benefits of the district. So 89% of that budget goes to salaries and benefits of our people. We have over 650 employees. And then the lighter blue, that's utilities insurance. That's about 5% of our budget. I say all of this because if somebody asks the question, how come you simply don't have the money to pay for your facilities? It's because this is kind of how we're funded. The state expects towns to support schools with regard to infrastructure. That's simply how the budgets are set up in California. It's not everywhere that way, but in California it is. So where the focus is for Measure J would be, critical repairs and access. Safe, warm, and dry is the easiest way to describe this. That's going to be our focus with regard to a lot of our deferred maintenance. A major one, I'm not going to read this to you, but a major component of our district right now and our needs is our HVAC. For example, there's about $50 million in just HVAC needs district-wide, $20 million at the high school alone. Also, we're looking at upgrading labs, classrooms. We have a number of portables that are really kind of falling apart that we would be focused on improving or potentially replacing if possible. And then all the way to the right, it's interesting. In our last 2016 bond, we did do security cameras. Security cameras pretty much go out of, they're no longer good after about 4 years. And so ours are kind of on their last legs already. You get a lot of pixelated, blurry views, and the tech, it doesn't keep up. So we would be looking at safe, warm, dry. That's really the focus for this bond because we have a lot of critical needs in that area. Something that everybody should know, the bond as it's placed on the ballot is more of an extension versus a new ask. So if people were to vote for the bond, they would not see an increase in their tax bill. It would be exactly the same as it currently is. That wouldn't change. It's currently at $120 per 100,000 assessed value. It stays exactly the same. And that would generate actually $92 million for our school district. Our bonding capacity is more than that. It's roughly around 130 million. But based on our polling, the district felt the right pathway forward was to go with the bond plan that did not cause an increase in the tax bills for individuals in Windsor. All bonds remain locally. This is one of the few things that people can vote on where the stuff doesn't go to Sacramento and then to us. It goes straight to Windsor, and we are in control of the money. However, having said that, when you pass a bond, you are required to have an independent oversight committee. So they review every single dollar down to the 1 cent that is spent, and ultimately they have to approve it. So the Citizens Oversight Committee is something that we would fill should our bond pass. And every year, Austin would have to present to them on every single expenditure. And if the expenditure did not fit within the bond language, then we'd be in big trouble. So just so everybody understands what really comes when you pass a bond. Also, later on this evening, the board is going to vote on a resolution that clearly explains no amount of money should Measure J pass, no amount of money will be used at Windsor Creek. So it's very clear. I believe we're going to read the resolution so you can understand there's no way around it. It covers every aspect of bond funds. So Windsor Creek and the bond are two very different issues. And so no money, if the bond should pass, would be used at Windsor Creek. Also, I know people probably have questions, so I'm allowed to educate everybody during the day, and that's my plan. So there's going to be quite a few events where I get to go and I sit down, and I'm hoping people will come and ask questions. I'm happy to talk about our school district anytime. If there's anybody watching this who would like to just learn more, please reach out to Jenny Cox. It's jcox@WUSD.org. I would be happy to get you in front of me. We could talk about anything that you are wondering about. It's my favorite thing. I miss being a teacher. It's my one opportunity to teach. So please come and see me. We'll have a good time. But if you'd like to join me for Sipping with the Superintendent, we're having one on August 19th at 9 a.m. We're doing this one in the Brooks Elementary School Library. We have them kind of all over the district and sometimes in different town areas. Please come and see me. I'd like to answer any questions that people might have. That's all for now.
So Jeremy, before you go, I do have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm really asking this for the benefit of the public because I know that this is a question that has come up a lot in the community. And that is, can you explain what it means that the school district is trying to get the bond passed in order to extend the bond?
Sure.
Because a lot of people have been asking about that.
Absolutely. It's a unique opportunity for us. So it wouldn't work all the time. But we have, when you sell bonds, so we've had bonds from 2008 and 2016. One of our 2008 bonds, let's say you sell a bond, you sometimes sell it in 3 different installments. And just like a mortgage, after a certain number of years, then you've paid off that mortgage. Okay. So for ours, one of our 2008 bond sales is coming to an end right now in August. So for us, we have an opportunity to say, okay, well, instead of raising taxes on everybody, we can replace that section and just carry that out so nobody's tax bill changes. I actually have a slide that would be helpful to show this, but I wasn't planning to show it. But really, that's what it is. We have one of our sales ending, and so now we can replace that and just keep it right at the same and generate $92 million for the district in the process.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question I get asked a lot is, how, just in a general sense, how did the school district use the monies from the first bond that was passed?
So the 2016 bond, so it was
Yes.
$62 million. Again, I have a slide. Why don't I do this? I'll present in September on all of these things. I think that could be helpful. I have a slide that shows pretty much about $50 million of the $62 million. I could show you different projects, but I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. So Cali, the portable replacements was about $20 million. The Maddie, that was, and I think that was 17. No, it was the Maddie was 17. Help me. Anybody remember? Anyway, the Cali portable replacements was about 20 million. Maddie, the portable replacements was about 10 million. We also redid the whole TK area at Cali. That was about $6 million.
Jeremy, do you want me to just go down the list?
I mean, we could, or I can present on it. Would you like to go down the list? Maybe we'll do both.
I think it's just really good information to report out on right now because people are thinking and considering the bond and how
Sure.
they're going to vote. And I think it's just good, food for thought for people to understand, how we got to be where we are right now.
I mean, I can pull up my presentation if this is what I present on. Come to Sipping with the Superintendent. This is what I cover right here. So I'm happy to pull that up too. If you guys wanted to wait a second, I can give you more.
Yeah, I think it'd be great if we have another presentation because to be honest, like some people work,
Do that,
they
Jen?
can't always make it to sip
Yeah.
into with the superintendent, right? So thank you.
You want to come back to me? I want to do your board reports and then you can come back to me and I can jump up there. That way we don't waste time.
Sure. With football season coming up, I think they call this an audible. Is that right?
But I'm good. This is what I've been doing every day.
Oh, you're like the Joe.
Ready to go.
All right. So do you want to hang on and then we'll go to,
Yeah, why don't you
Board
take
trustees?
your board?
all right, we'll circle back to Jeremy on that. Temporarily leaving 3.8, jumping to 3.9, Board of Trustees reports. Any reports? Okay, Stephanie?
I'll go. I just wanted to welcome everyone back to a new school year. It's pretty exciting to be back on campus, back in school. We have a lot happening this year. We have an election coming up, which is exciting. We've got the bond coming up, which you just spoke about. And I wanted to talk about something that I just wanted to point out about the bond that I feel like doesn't get spoken about enough. And that's how bonds work generally and how schools and facilities are funded in California generally, which in the state of California, you don't get like what Jeremy was showing with the funding. That is really for your ongoing costs. What is the way that you fund facilities in California? There are a couple other mechanisms, but like 80 to 90% of facilities funding comes from bonds in California. Like that's just the mechanism for paying for these things. And I think that's something that maybe people aren't aware of necessarily, or that we need to be reminded about, that this is actually the mechanism that our state has kind of selected for paying for these things. And so as a community, it's our responsibility to, if we want to have schools that are safe and sound and functional and maybe even beautiful, that we actually have to pass bonds in order to maintain the facilities in that way. So that's just something that I'm going to be talking about more. There are reimbursement programs that the state does, but you have to have bond funding to be able to get reimbursed. So that's kind of something that people don't always realize, is that if say you have a $20 million construction project, if you're going to get a $10 million reimbursement, you had to have already had the $20 million up front in order to even be eligible for that funding. So another super important thing to know. And then I think there was another thing that I wanted to raise about bonds. Oh, the regularity at which they're passed. So bonds, I think in California, are passed about once every 10 to 12 years in a school district. So we're right at that 10-year marker right now. So just some things that I'm sharing for the board and for our community to know about how bonds generally work, just in case anyone has any feedback, like, well, why do we even need to do this? Schools are funded in a different way, or, I already pay taxes, like that should cover it. No, that actually doesn't. Unfortunately, we wish, because we do pay a lot of taxes, but bonds are an integral part of funding for school facilities, and we need the buildings for school. We can't do it without them. We need the educators, we need our staff, but we also need the buildings. We need a place for our students to go that is safe. So that's my super simple point about bonds, is just that is the way that we fund school facilities. They are regularly reenacted over and over again, and we need that funding to take advantage of state funding. So without it, we're not in great shape. So that's something that I'll be talking about more. I'm running again, which is exciting, and I'll talk more about that later. You can find one of my many videos that I put on the internet and watch it.
Also,
Do you want to go?
At the squirrel right?
Yeah, I also opened a cafe this past year. So that was an exciting personal development. Brian, Brian,
So you
drinking
can
some
sit
coffee.
so you can sit with
Yeah.
the superintendent, or you can
Yeah.
sip with
Yeah.
Stephanie.
So it's been a really great year. Yeah. I have many jobs. I'm a lawyer. I own a small business and I'm doing this, which I love. And so just welcome back. And I hope we can continue talking about what we want to do for the district, how we want to keep making it better and better, and then how we can support this specific campaign, which we are all very passionate about. And also support our town too, which is at the same time asking for additional some sales tax resources. And I feel like in Windsor, we try to be very frugal, our governing bodies, like we try to be very responsible. So I would say if these two entities are asking for these things, they probably really need them. And I will just leave it at that.
Thanks, Stephanie. Bill?
Yeah, real quick from the reporting standpoint, I just want to thank the students and their parents for a good first few days of school. Austin, I know you oversee the facilities crews and through Sheila and her classified employees, the campuses look beautiful. The students seemed exciting. I live right across the street from Maddie Washburn, so I never know if the new incoming first time at school kids or the new incoming first time having kids go to school parents cry more. The mom and dads cry as they go back to their car. But to the point that Stephanie was talking about last Monday, several of us were at a district-wide retreat with the administrators and the district cabinet talking about the strategic plans for the district, not just year and leaning forward. But one of my favorite things last Wednesday, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I guess, I went over and spoke briefly to the new employees orientation. And we have 65 new employees-ish out of about 700 total employees, which actually seems like a lot, but that's a low number. We had much less turnover this year, but it's so exciting to see them. Our staff really wants to work here. Our families and our students are blessed about people who come, and it always is intriguing to me. Not an insignificant number of them are alumni who went to school here who have come back to work, either as classified employees or certificated teachers. So kudos to everybody. I think we're starting with a high note. Welcome again to our trustees 6 and 7. I look very much forward to working with the students. It has always been, and for the good of the order and people playing at home, we're one of the few districts that have student trustees, let alone 2. And certainly when we've gone to 2, I believe it's a multiplicative effect of the effectiveness and the breadth of what we consider. So please realize that except for very limited aspects, like when we're doing staff discipline or student discipline, you are co-equal voices on this board. And I hope that you get comfortable and can share on issues that you have an opinion on or a question on. That's very important. So thanks very much. Look forward to a great year.
Thanks, Bill.
I just have something very short. I just wanted to say that I feel that our teachers in our school district, they really deserve a lot of kudos and acknowledgement because it's so much work to prepare for the new school year. And, not just preparing curriculum, but, organizing your class. I think that one of the hardest skills for teachers is anticipating, what could go wrong, right? So for example, do you need to pivot during the semester in your curriculum because it's not quite landing? Or, are there students that are having mental health challenges and you need to sort of address that, right? There's so many things that could go wrong. And I think that that's the hardest skill of a teacher is to anticipate all the many ways that your curriculum can reach your students, taking into account whatever challenges are having maybe at home or just in their schoolwork, or maybe they need additional tutoring. It's just such a challenging job. So I really want to commend our teachers and say to thank you, for being up for that task every year, and just doing that really hard work, right, to get our students to where they need to be is very commendable. So I just wanted to thank all of our teachers.
Thank you. All right. Got a few things already hit the Marys. So I was already, thanks Pete for letting us have the earlier time. The town this last, think it was this last week or two, they approved the garbage contract for the next 10 years, I believe it is. And what's important about that is that contract takes effect next year. The school district, I was on their ad hoc committee, learned a lot about that whole garbage process. The good news is that our school district, we're like our own little sovereign agency. We have a lot of options to do things differently that the town doesn't have. They don't have those same options. And so I wanted to just bring this up that their contract's been set. I'd like to put on our next agenda. I don't know if we have to have a discussion or whatever, but I'd like to create an ad hoc committee that we can start working on the garbage stuff, because I was at the meeting and I got hit with like 4 business cards from all the people dressed really nicely in suits when I came straight from practice here. So anyhow, everybody's wanting to, and they're all aware of the different options that we have. They're not aware of all of our options, but they're aware of the options they want to present to us. But anyhow, so I'd like to be able to bring that up.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Because we can figure this out now.
Sure.
Is more than one board member interested in being a part of that? I know, Rich, you're interested. Is anybody else interested in being a part of that process? Because it'll probably be a lot of Austin leading this with whichever board members are interested.
Bill just said.
Okay. So then we'll bring you and Rich.
Did you hear what she said?
No.
I just said,
She said
I was trying to be
talk
funny.
trash
I
the
said, you
best.
talk trash the best.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
You.
All right. Well, we'll bring you and Rich, and then
I
we'll
think my
develop a plan
wife's
together.
going to vote for you now.
Okay.
And so anyhow, so that we got that. So that was that one there. Another thing is I just discovered I was looking for some stuff, and sometimes you stumble across unexpected things. And a couple of days ago, I was doing some research, and I discovered that our school boundaries are not coterminous with a lot of the students that go to Windsor and our businesses that are Windsor businesses and our boundary. Anyhow, we are leaking a lot of developer fees and property tax that is not. And so I called Jeannie, a friend of mine who's the head of the committee on the boundaries for the whole county. And I asked her, I said, hey, why is this going on? And she said, hey, look, Rich, these things don't get changed that often. Your line's about 50 years old. And she goes, it's kind of basically in general, not exactly, but Shiloh South, everybody went to Santa Rosa. Shiloh North, they all went to Hillsburg. Well, in the last 35 years, you now have a high school, you're a unified school district, all these different things. And I'm going, well, this sounds like we should be making our lines work with the town and all that stuff. I know that like our business park over where our office is, there's got to be, and I'm just guessing. So Betsy, I know you're listening, so don't quote me on this number, but there's probably 100 million of valuation in all the buildings there that we're not getting any aspect of that going towards our district, but they're in our town boundaries and the whole 9 yards. So anyhow, I would like to look at that. Santa Rosa, the condition they're in, they're not going to want to give up anything, but I think it's a fight that we need to bring to them and what have you. So I'd like to put that on our next agenda if we could, or whatever the appropriate, you guys, we can talk about that later, but I just
Can
want to
we
bring
do
it up.
some research? I'm just unprepared.
Sure,
So,
I can meet with Austin and show him what I found.
okay.
This partially comes from, remember when we had our bond meeting and I told everybody, no, I get our equipment. The school gets bonded, and I don't remember which one of the people in the audience said, no, I don't think that's right. So I looked, and in fact, my equipment was getting taxed by the school districts. It's just that we found out that Petaluma was getting some of it. Rona Park was getting some of it. Santa Rosa was getting a bunch of it. They had it all wrong. So I went to the assessor's office and got that all fixed. But I'm just one business in all of Windsor, and I'm thinking how many other people don't notice it. And I've been paying that bill for years, and I didn't notice it, and I'm on the school board. So I think there's a lot of cleanup that needs to happen that I think over time is just kind of slowly just morphed away. So I'd be happy to get together with Austin, and then you guys can figure out what the right next step would be.
I think we'll start looking into it for sure.
So anyhow, and then the last thing was, so it's the beginning of the school year. It's the open enrollment. So I know all the board trustees, we all get these little things in the mail and whatever. And so I was going through it and I'm looking at our little health and benefits and all the different things for the district and the district members. And I was looking at all these different options that they have. And my thought was, since everybody is enrolling, re-enrolling, or just keeping the things the same, everything's staying the same, except for I'm sure the costs are going up. My thought was, and I'm trying to merge two different things at the same time, and I'd like to bring this to you guys at this time. This doesn't take effect until October 1st. We now have the, I may mischaracterize it or say it incorrectly, but I know that we're getting an additional 1.44% from the government that now goes with the LCFF funds. And that money is earmarked as pregnancy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's pregnancy disability
Leave. Yeah.
leave help. It's different than all the other benefits that normally come with pregnancy. And there's some other things as well that's attached with it. And I'm looking at that dollar amount and the amount, and I'm not sure that we would need all 1.44 of that percentage to go towards covering that cost. So what I'd like to do is ask you guys if you could take a look at that and see, and bring it back to us next meeting or whatever, if it's something you could do in that period of time. But my thought would be, if we could take that 1.44%, and if any part of that we don't, you guys don't think is needed, is, let's see, how do I put it this way? One of the things when we got on the board a long, long time ago is Windsor had a reputation of hiding the chicken, that we were kind of playing funny with the money and hiding it here, hiding it there, stashing it. And you guys have done a marvelous job of not doing that. And I know that our partners, we've negotiated all our contracts and it's all done. But this kind of had a little thought in my mind, and that is, since we have some money, maybe I'd like to see if we could, whatever we could squirrel away, because if nobody has a baby this next year, we have 1.44% that came in that we didn't need to use. Now, if everybody gets pregnant this year, we're going to be 1.44 ain't going to cover it. But whatever it is, if you guys could look that up and see if there's a percentage or an amount that we can distribute to our staff now. I don't know what all the ins and outs are of having to meet with our partners and say, hey, here's a little extra, maybe, or not. I don't know. Maybe there isn't anything extra, but if there is, I'd like to see if we could distribute it now instead of waiting and banking it for a year or two till the next agreement comes up, because the agreement may get renewed in a year or two or three, but the increase in their benefits is going to happen in October. So if we could do that in September, we could vote on something. And so that might, I don't know the logistics, if we could fund that possibly out of that extra money that might be extra and it might not be extra. I don't know.
We can definitely do the analysis. Yeah. We've been talking about needing to do that analysis. So for sure, we can do that.
So if you guys could do that, and then I don't know if it would be an agenda item.
It would have to be, yeah.
Okay. So,
but we'll do
you guys
this
can
analysis.
figure that out and then get back to us and our partners and figure out how to, if there's something there that we can help with.
For sure.
I think we should try.
Understood.
So anyhow, and that was it. And that means, what's that? You're back. Back to 3.8B.
I'm not going to go through this entire thing. I'm just going to go through some pertinent slides because it's like 35 slides. So already did that for you. So projects completed. There's not a pretty picture of every single dollar amount, but if you'd like, Austin can itemize all the other non-sexy ones like upgrading phone lines, things like that, because we also had to do that. But you see the Maddie Washburn classroom, that was 10 million, that was 17 portables replaced. The guy already said this one, the Cali TK, that was just like a hideous space, guys. I don't know if you ever walked back in that TK area, but it looked like a zombie might jump out any moment. And really thankful that those are the classrooms now. That was about $5 million. The Brooks Library project was $2.5 million. And then you have some of the smaller projects up top. You look at our locker room at Cali needed a whole remodel. That was almost $600,000. The quad that you've all seen at Windsor High School, that was just a big mud pit before. That was about $500,000. We had a bunch of upgrades. Playgrounds go out of compliance often, believe it or not. And so we had a bunch of upgrades that needed to take place. Also, the rubberized stuff starts to flake off. There's just a lot of maintenance that goes with the playgrounds. That was about $1 million. We also upgraded our CTE classrooms at the middle school. We have beautiful facilities. If you haven't been over there, that was about $400,000. The stadium project at Windsor High School, the football field, $4.5 million. I told you about the security cameras at $2.8 million. And then the big project was the Cali Calmeca 14 classroom portable replacement. That was at $20 million. We also had district-wide roofing repairs. You know, it's hard to break these things down, but we have a lot of leaks that happen. Like I said, we still have over 70 that we're trying to trace. Part of the problem is, where do you think all those HVAC systems are that are no longer really in their shelf life? Well, they're on top of the roof. And what do HVAC systems create? They create water. Right. And so it's hard to trace these things sometimes. And we have we have like 18 layers of polyurethane on these roofs, but sometimes it's hard to find where the water is getting in. And if you want, Austin can probably run down the smaller amounts, because this was about 50 million of the 62. It was the one that had some nice pictures, but we also have some smaller ones too.
So we had shade structures all across the district, science labs. We had 2 science labs. 2 culinary rooms. At the walkways at several of our sites were replaced, which is funny about walkways. The dollar amounts are ridiculous for what you get. You want to see that pretty 2-story at the end of a project. You don't get that with walkways. You get just a concrete path, and then you get this rough, not the same bill, but a higher bill than you would expect to get. District-wide painting, we painted across all the sites. If you've seen Cali recently, you realize that they no longer have 20 different paint colors. They now have their 4 standard paint colors that we can go pick up at our local Home Depot to replace, instead of trying to color match a random one on one of the portables. WMS, we had re-roofing at WMS, which obviously that's Maddie Washburn. Windsor High School, we had a full fire panel replacement and upgrade. We had the PA system district-wide, so we've seen all of our PA systems in all of our classrooms, which is also due to safety. We have our shelter in place, and then we have our full lockdowns. We also had a phone upgrade all throughout all of our campuses. We went to Zoom phones, and then, of course, the Margie Mejia preschool, we got a lot of our funding from the tribe, but we did have some funding that we pitched in for as well.
And that's 62 million. I'm not going to go through that. Just really quick, I'll give you the overview. This was the assessment done in 2021. And if you look at escalation costs, it's about 6 to 7% per year for construction costs. So you figure you take that number, 122.5 million was the need in 2021. It's now 2026. So it's about 30% higher than that, most likely, based on common kind of construction math. But that's where the needs were. And again, Windsor High School, you know, we're 30 years old now, guys, right? So there's $55 million in need, because it's time to start replacing a lot of that stuff. You guys could give this presentation, couldn't you? You just saw it, I think. Again, I don't want to go through every bit of this because it's just a superintendent report, but this one I think is important. I said this already, but seeing it is significant. So a lot of people don't understand how expensive it is to build 1,000 square foot classroom. If you would imagine building 1,000 square foot home with no land and no bathroom, you'd say easy, couple $100,000, right? not when you're in school construction. There's a lot that's out of our control. And so the hard costs are about $800 per square foot and the soft costs are $400. So permitting is a soft cost, things like that. So to build a classroom is about $1.2 million. Normal classroom is about 960 square foot. So round numbers, 1,000. So if we just replaced all of the older than 20-year-old portables, it'd be an extra $62 million on top of that 122.5 I just showed you. And to replace all the portables would be about 100 million. And when I say there's $122.5 million worth of need, that does not include any of the portables. So if there's a leak in the roof of a portable, that's not built into the $122.5 million cost. Or if the HVAC system on the portable is bad, that is not built into the cost either. I'm not going to go through all the feasibility. I don't think that's what you're asking, but you were asking about this, Malinali. So this is a good picture of how this would work. If you look all the way to the left of that graph and you see August 2026 and you see that red line that's taller than the rest, that's the 2008 election, and that's how much property taxes are being paid from the 2008 election. You see that some of that gets smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see that smaller piece goes away. We replace the smaller piece with the blue up top. So you see how it's at $120 per 100,000 right now. It just stays there.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of increasing, last time we asked for $60 per 100,000 higher. So last time we were asking for $180 per 100,000. This year we're saying we're not asking for more. If we could just keep your bill exactly the same, it generates $92 million for us. It extends how long it takes to repay. I mean, that's true, but we're not changing anybody's bills. So for those that are saying it's hard right now, we understand, we acknowledge that. We asked for less money so that we could do this strategy instead to keep people's tax bills the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably, those are what you were asking about. There's a lot of other things in here,
Yes,
but I think
it's really the two questions that I keep getting over and over in the community. So I just wanted a visual. And so this is really good, to show people. Mm-hmm.
Good. If there's questions, I'm not going anywhere, so I'll be here.
Thanks, Jeremy. All righty. We're going to move now to 3.10 Staff Association reports. Do we have any staff that would like to report?
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening, board. Good evening, directors. I'm Sheila Womack. I am the chapter president for CSEA, the California School Employees Association for Windsor. And I'm here tonight with my staff report. It's so good to be here. I just have to say, I can't help but smile when I come up here most times. So I just feel joy and a gratitude to be here and to share some wonderful things going on for CSEA. So let's get going. We just had our professional development days through CSEA, and I got to say, they're just getting better. This is our second year of feeling like we are getting very deep professional development. I am been hearing a lot from members who feel like they're learning a lot, that they're appreciative to our district for putting these together for us and caring to do that and wanting us to be top notch. And so that's been positive. I've heard a lot of positive things. So I look forward to the ongoing growth of these professional development days. Hopefully at some point we can get them into our calendar. We don't have to time card it. Every time you time card these kind of days, that does not go to our retirement, doesn't go to CalPERS. So hopefully we can get this into a calendar day for our folks. We're getting ready for our successor agreement negotiations. I just submitted our initial proposals to our labor rep. I'm opening pretty much every article. So we'll go through those things, except we won't be talking wages and health benefits as we negotiated last year. Although any table I'm sitting at or any room I'm in, I might whisper, you got any extra money? I might say that. But so thanks, Rich, for speaking there. As you know, I believe that our members are worth every penny and more. And yes, we are going to be hurting come October 1. And I've been hearing from a lot of my members stating that they're not really sure what they're going to do. Some of them that work under the 7 hours can waive their right to the insurance, and then they go on the covered California, but it's not the best insurance. And so it can be really hard for especially single parents with kids. So there's that. But yes, we are getting ready to be proactive. One of the initial proposals that will come forth from CSEA will be regarding AI, because as we know, that is growing faster than anything, and just being prepared to have some language regarding that to support our workplace and our systems. I just attended a week at the 100-year Centennial Conference for CSEA. We've been around 100 years. It's crazy. And it was interesting because what we do there at conference is we debate and we vote on resolutions that go into our the association's constitution and bylaws, which also feed into our local chapter's constitution and bylaws. And I think the big theme was getting CSEA up to the digital age, because I'll say that, and it's shocking how many people want to fight doing things digitally. Just modernizing. You can bet I spoke up pro for anything that was to get us up with the times, because if the next 100 years are going to be the people younger than me, we're going to have to get up with that, or we won't have a CSEA. And I know a lot of the young folks think we're just kind of an old club, so we got to get current. So that was a big hot topic there. Union steward training is coming to Windsor. I am really hoping that we can get some members trained as union stewards. Union stewards represent members in disciplinary meetings. We help with workforce grievances. We sit on interview panels, and we just protect the members' rights. And right now we only have a couple of us, and really I tend to get more calls than it's almost becoming more of a job than the job I do at Brooks. But yes, I want to get more people trained, and I will be spreading the great word that we will have it right here in Windsor. So that'll be easy to get to. Okay, chapter meetings. They're resuming. Our chapter meetings start up in September. We do have a town hall. It's not tomorrow. I'm sorry that's misleading there. It's going to be Wednesday, 4:30 to 5:30. Town halls are great. It's an opportunity for our members to just express themselves off the record, share what's going on in their own world. We don't have the Robert's Rules of Order, so we can just speak freely. And you can bet that I will be discussing the affordable housing apartments, the town, for the town, and how important that is going to be that we pass the bond. I mean, I have a lot of things we're going to be talking about at our town hall. And Jeremy's offered to come. We'll do a special one at the end of September to just basically, maybe he can help explain some of what he's just explained here tonight. Yeah, and then we're going to be talking about MOUs. We're voting on 3 of them. One being, I love when a new job's created in the district, because one of them is for a new position, and new jobs are great. And I'm hoping that vote passes. I believe it will. Yes, what's the school bond, right? So we're preparing for a yes vote. At least I am in my mind. I'm going to put that out into the universe that this is passing. We'll be talking a lot at our meetings. I'm sure every meeting we'll have some discussion around the school bond. Addressing confusion, because there's been confusion between the Windsor Creek thing and the bond, and it's just all blending and blurring. So I'm keeping my door open for people to ask their questions and give our members some clarity, so that they understand, what's going on in this town. So we will be voting on 3 MOUs. And yeah, one of them, like I said, is for a new job at the high school. It's a wellness center, basically a liaison, someone who's helping the wellness center, supporting. And then we have a couple of other MOUs that just to clean up some things. They're in your board reports there, or in your agenda. You'll see a lot more of these MOUs. I need to memorialize change, and I think we have to do it on paper, and it's not to be difficult, but just so that we have a record. When I stepped in, I literally received nothing. I had no history. Nothing was handed to me. So I want to make sure when I exit, I am leaving all changes that and agreements we've made with the district. So making those, you'll see a lot of that. You'll see a lot of MOUs coming through from CSEA. Back to the artificial intelligence and classified staff. It is going to be a big topic. I know that's, like I said, coming up in negotiations. We do want to protect our classified jobs. We don't want to eliminate them. But one of the things CSEA recognizes is that we have to move with AI. We've got to learn how to use it in our jobs. We need to be trained in how to use it. I love doing things with AI. It makes my job, I feel like I could be much more efficient using a lot of the intelligence we're allowed to use here. So we do want to have some safeguards up in our contract, and we'll get those, but I know we're going to work well with the district on this because I think we're seeing things the same with regard to this shift. And then building our union strength. I've been working really hard to bring back members who left our union at the end of the last e-board leaders term. There were people whose trust was broken, and I've been working really hard to rebuild trust with our union folks by just showing them what our union really is, what it can be, the hope. I've been working really hard, and I think at this point we're close to 300 members. I gained back, I think, everyone but one person that left, so that felt really good to get folks back, and because our numbers are our strength, and now I just got to get them all trained to do the things, so I'm not the Lone Ranger. That will be great. So that's it for me. Any questions? Great. Well, thank you all.
Thank you. Any other? Not tonight? Okay, all good. Moving on to 3.11, approval of minutes from the June 22nd meeting. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
All right, and a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Jen,
Aye.
got it? All right, thank you. So that's 311. And then, let's see, 4.1, consideration of approval. Oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute.
Consent item.
Is that consent? Okay, so Paul, if you could pull 4.1 off. I'm going to recuse myself for that one.
Okay, and also Malden Longley would like us to pull 411 and 412 for discussion.
I just had some quick questions on 411 and 412,
So you don't have to pull them. You can just ask the questions.
Do you want to ask the questions now then
Sure.
before we vote? Okay.
So for 4.11, my question is that in the background summary of this item, it doesn't make it clear what would be the actual funding source for the Wellness Center liaison. And I was just wondering if we could have an explanation of what the funding source would be for that, because I know it was previously grant funded.
Yeah, it's a modification of the position. So it was grant funded, but kind of a different construct. That grant funding did run out. This is a good question. That grant funding did run out. We're actually looking for grant funding for the future. So this is kind of a one-year bridge where it's coming out of the general fund. And then we're hoping to secure grant funding so that the position can continue for future years and not be hitting the general fund.
Okay, and then I just wanted to speak up on the fact that I find this item to be vitally important to our school district. Because as I was mentioning in my earlier comment about how hard teachers work, and when you have to pivot in your classroom because, maybe the student is having a difficult day, it's so critical to have a wellness center that could be a resource, for the student that is maybe suffering from anxiety or depression or, other factors that come into play. So I just really wanted to enthusiastically support this item. And I'm so glad that we're creating a bridge, for future funding. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. Actually, SCO had made a lot of promises centered around our wellness center, and we were hoping that they would come through with some of the grant funding that would help this program. Unfortunately, none of that grant funding came through. And so we have this bridge here where we may have to go out and get our own. But we made the decision. We're asking you to make the decision to support it for 1 year out of the general fund.
Okay. Well, like I said, I enthusiastically support it. And then my second question has to do with item 4.12, which is the Read On program.
Mhm.
And I was just wondering if you could explain what that is and how it's funded.
Well, it's funded solely by Lytton Band of Pomo Indians. They have, I think it's still $120,000 that they have donated to our school district so that we can run this program. And I'm going to give you really a Cliff Notes version because there's a lot that goes into it. But essentially what this program is, our kids develop goals for reading. Then they read books. They take tests on these books. They get credit or points for how many, for the books that they've read, how difficult they were, how many questions they got right. And we hope that kids are going to meet their goals, and it spurs a love of reading, and kids are doing more reading. And at the end of this, where Read On Sonoma comes in, we could do all of that on our own as a district. Where Read On Sonoma comes in is there are prizes at the end that are pretty good prizes, where people are flying on planes to transport rescue dogs. And, you know, my daughter, actually, I just booked her field trip to the Canine Companions Tour because that's what she chose, because she made her goal in a different school. So that's really where Read On Sonoma comes in, because those prizes aren't cheap. And so thank you to Lytton for really supporting our school district again and allowing us to do this critical work.
And I guess with this item, I was trying to understand, how is this program, besides the prizes, how is this program different from other reading programs that we have had? Because, for example, I know Ms. Zacconi is in the audience, and my daughter was in her class, I believe in 4th grade. And they also had a similar program where you read and then you get certain points. And how is this different besides the prizes?
I mean, I don't know how I could say it's different. This program is specifically designed to foster a love of learning. There are many different reading programs. Lexia is a reading program. You know, Paul works with Lexia closely. That's also merit-based. You progress based on how your questions getting answered correctly and things like that. But this program is specifically to say, like, go read these books that you enjoy. Let's make it fun. And at the end of this, there's prizes. And a lot of times the kids say, I didn't even care about the prize by the end. I just started to love reading. And I'm not sure if that's a good answer, but that's really what this specific program is designed around. And we had, golly, Annette, do you know our numbers? Do you know off the top of your head? I'd have to go look them up, but we had because we've had this program. It's AR, Accelerated Reader. We've had it for years at certain schools. But we doubled the amount of books that were read in our district because of this program, because it puts a spotlight on, hey, this is what we're doing. You rally around a specific initiative. So it's been significant, and we have room to grow. So we still have a lot of work where kids should be, in my opinion, doubling and tripling their goals more at a higher rate than we currently are. But I'm not sure if that answers it, Malinali, or.
I was just trying to understand how we are improving on, you know, our past performance in terms of the school scorecard and, you know, kids' reading level.
Sure.
How this is sort of moving us forward, right?
I think it's just increasing the amount that kids read. If you just look at most research, which I'm sure you have, being that you're pretty well equipped in this area, the more you read, the better you will do on any of these tests that they also have to take. I couldn't give you any detailed answer better than that. But I'm happy to do a full report if you would like, and then I can really go in depth, which would be fun actually to do that full report for you guys.
Sure, I think that'd be great for a future meeting. I would really welcome that. And then also, I think another topic of conversation that has come up a lot in my discussions with different people is, you know, now that we've diversified literature at the high school, you know, how can we do that at the lower grades as well in terms of kids reading different books, right?
Sure.
So that'd be a great presentation to have.
Yeah, happy to do that. Get ready, Annette.
Get ready.
All right, thank you. Excuse me, if I need to take a half step back, if I could, Paul, for a minute, just half. It's nothing bad. This is our first board meeting of the year with our new student trustees. And I kind of need to explain something that maybe you all know and maybe you don't, and everybody else can correct me if I'm not, but we have preferential votes because, and again, this is my understanding. So legislatively, us 5 elected board members, we have to vote on certain things and it's locked in stone. You two, because some boards don't have student trustees, some have one. We're blessed to be able to have two. We ask for your preferential vote. You guys vote. Legally, your vote counts in our heart, but not on the books. Is that correct? And so we want to make sure that you guys, we will include you in the votes. And so when we had one earlier, I just said, all those in favor? And I said, aye, and I did not ask you for your preference, your vote earlier than that. So anyhow, so I just wanted to kind of step back. This is kind of how things go. And if we forget, you can always just, hey, you forgot us or whatever. And so anyhow, and anybody else that wants to add to that explanation or whatever, feel free. So
It's called preferential, so the board hears from our two students first. And so you can tell us what your view is, yes, no, maybe you have more questions to inform us from the student voices that we have, 5,000 of you, to come and let us know what's going on.
all right, thanks.
Because you're going to be asked to vote, and we realize on this end that you may be freaked out when Rich said, or Jen asks, so student board members, your first vote of ever being on this, and that's coming very soon.
And if you're not sure, you can say present. Because we do that too sometimes. Anyhow, so with that clarification, introduction to the new year. Paul, I don't know if you guys want to vote on 4.1 and I'll just recuse myself of that and then the rest we can include.
Yeah, why don't we vote on 4.1 first? And you don't have to physically leave.
No.
You just sit there, but don't vote. Okay. Okay, so we're up is 4.1, which is the consideration of approval of personnel assignment order. And do I have a motion to approve?
I'll motion to approve that 4.1.
Okay, preferential votes first.
And I'll second.
Oh, wait, you did. You already seconded.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to ask them first to vote? Or just all in favor?
Just say aye and then I count.
So you're going to do it, so I'll just say all in favor.
I put their
Okay,
first and then I put your count.
got it. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
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 Oppose? No, none.
And one abstention.
Oh, one abstention, that's right. Okay. So next, if we need any other discussion on 4.2 through 4.13, I believe. Anybody else have anything else you would like to discuss on those items?
I'll make a motion that we approve 4.2 through 4.13.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Yeah, it passed.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Paul. All righty. Moving on to discussion action items 5.1, consideration of approval of resolution number 2027-02, release of university teaching intern. This is by Pete.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, we are seeking approval for Resolution 27-2. Windsor Unified School District has an agreement with Santa Rosa Junior College when we hire preschool intern teachers through the junior college. And by virtue of the agreement, those positions are temporary. Regardless, there should be some formal action taken by the board when their employment is terminated. And unfortunately, that action was not taken. It doesn't have to occur by March 15th, like a teacher or a classified member, but it should have been taken. So this is a house cleaning resolution, which solidifies the action taken by the district. So this is one resolution and it's 2 notices.
Okay. So because it's a resolution, we need to make a motion, have a motion and an approval. Can I have a motion?
I'll move, approve the resolution as recommended.
And I will second that motion. Then we need to have a roll call vote, Jen. And this is for both. We don't have to
Correct.
do
Yeah,
one.
they
Okay.
they are both on the same resolution, but the notices are separate because they're one for each.
Rich Carnation,
Yes.
Bill Adams.
Yes.
Stephanie Ahmad,
Yes.
Malinali Lopez,
Yes.
Paul Cagorno,
Yes.
Liam Ryan,
Yes.
Tegan McCoy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just take care of this paperwork real quick.
And I would just, if we can try to have the students go first in the vote, let's try to do that. Thank you. No worries.
Yeah.
Try to remember.
Be Parliament.
Alrighty. Thank you all very much. Moving on to 5.2.
Just trying to carry out.
Consideration of approval of resolution 2027-04, affirming that no proceeds of the district's November 3rd general obligation bond measure will be expended on the Windsor Creek Elementary School project. This item will be presented by Austin. There you are.
So what this item is, we've already approved for a bond measure, which is now Measure J, as Jeremy has presented on tonight. It will be on the ballot for November 3rd. What this item is specifically is we have 5 or 6 community members who happen to live in close proximity or on the boundary line of Windsor Creek, who have been kind of spreading information that, we're trying to pass this bond to go forward with Windsor Creek property, which is not true. It's on the ballot and everything, but we want to make sure that that's clear. So we're going to adopt a resolution tonight, or at least we have one on the agenda for your approval, that basically says verbatim that no bond funds shall be used on the Windsor Creek property. This is really the purpose of this, is to kind of uphold the integrity of the bond that we're going after, and just alluding to that transparency. So of course, when we go to citizens oversight, as well as future audits of this bond when it passes, that this resolution will go with it, and they will be able to audit that none of these funds were used for Windsor Creek.
Cool. Thanks, Austin.
Do you want to read the specific language, Rich?
I'll ask the board. I think so, and here's the reason why. One of our former town council members had mentioned that there was a question about, bond funds can go for certain things. And so a bunch of people asked if that was true. And I said, yes, actually. And so I talked to Deb about it. And I said, actually, that is true that bonds can be used for certain things. But in schools and school bonds, it's a little bit different in that they can only go to the things that are iterated in the bond. So anyhow, and it came up because even there's an individual that even when you tell him the sun is out, he still tells everybody that the sky is dark. And actually, I think he enjoys that. But so I said, hey, it's not going to kill us to actually put the resolution on our agenda. So now anybody that's in the community could actually know, hey, no, the board actually took the specific time to publicly state that no money from the bond will go to Windsor Creek at all, in any form, any fashion. And somebody might even go, wow, you listed a whole lot of things, and say, well, that's because we're trying to nip it in the bud of misinformation. So anyhow, we were going to just, it's up to the board if we want to read it.
What if we read the second part where it says what we're going to do, and not all the whereases, where it kind of explains the background of the bond? And then what do you think?
Yeah, I think if we can abbreviate it at all, that'd be awesome. So would that be just section recitals, Jeremy?
Yes.
From that point on?
Does that make sense? I think that's really what we're affirming we're going to do.
Maybe we can just read the headers too.
Yeah, just read the header sections 2 through 6.
Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have section 2, no expenditure of bond proceeds on the Windsor Creek property, period. Section 3, administration of the bond measure. Well, maybe I'll read that just so you know what's in there.
It's definitely, I think you should read all of section 2 because it explains there's no loopholes.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's just read that page. I like that.
No expenditure of bond proceeds on the Windsor Creek property. The board hereby affirms, determines, and declares that no proceeds of the bonds, including any investment earnings thereon, shall be expended for the acquisition, construction, reconstruction, rehabilitation, replacement, modernization, renovation, improvement, furnishing, or equipping of any facilities located on the Windsor Creek property, or for the planning, design, permitting, or any other cost of any project located on the Windsor Creek property. Administration of the bond measure. This is section 3. In administering the bond measure, expending proceeds of the bonds and applying the bond project list, the district shall at all times act consistent with this resolution, and the resolution shall constitute a policy of the board binding upon district staff in the administration of the bond measure. Oversight and audits. This is section 4. The superintendent and the chief business official of the district and their written designees are hereby directed to administer all expenditures of proceeds of the bonds in accordance with this resolution. Following approval of the bond measure by the voters, the district shall provide a copy of this resolution to the Independent Citizens Oversight Committee established pursuant to the act. In compliance with this resolution shall be encompassed within the annual independent performance audit conducted pursuant to Resolution 2026-32 and the bond measure. Section 5. Future consideration of the Windsor Creek property. Nothing in this resolution determines or limits any future decision of the board regarding the use, lease, or disposition of the Windsor Creek property, and any such decision shall be considered separately by the board at a duly noticed public meeting. Any costs associated with the Windsor Creek property shall be paid, if at all, from lawful sources of funds other than proceeds of the bonds. And then section 6. Public availability. The clerk of the board is hereby directed to make this resolution publicly available, including by posting on the district website, and so on. And then effective date, the resolution shall take effect on or after its adoption. So there you go.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for reading that. Actually, Melanie had to step out for a minute. I think it's important that we get, oh, here she comes. The,
As if there's any public.
yeah, thank you. I'd like to, is there any questions amongst us first? No. Okay. I'd like to open this up for public comment. Is there anybody in the public that would like to get up and make mention of this? Okay.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go. So one of the things I forgot to mention in my staff report regarding the Windsor Creek Apartments, I've reached out to the California School Employees Association North Bay Field Office, and I've asked them to come speak at the town. I chatted with Jeremy and I got confirmation. We'll have someone to come to speak on behalf of it because these housing developments, they're going up everywhere. So it's not connected to the bond. I know we need to keep this clear for folks, but I think it will help to have a CSEA representative come and speak on behalf of CSEA and what these homes can mean. And again, being separate from the bond, but I forgot to mention that in my staff report. So someone will be showing up from CSEA to explain that these developments are happening all over, the state. So, yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else in the audience? All right, bring it back to the board. There's no more questions. I'd like to make a motion that I'm sorry. Oh, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution 2027-04. And if I can get a second.
I'll second.
All right, Stephanie, we have a second with Stephanie. There's a resolution, so we need to have a roll call vote.
Tegan McCoy. Liam Ryan.
Yes.
Paul Cagorno.
Yes.
Malinali Lopez.
Yes.
Rich Carnation.
Yes.
Stephanie Ahmad.
Yes.
Phil Adam.
Yes.
All right, thank you all very much. Now, all righty. So if you can. Yes. Well, these are all of the resolutions. Give those to me, please. I already did, I think. Hey, Jen, you're going to have to I just signed it, but you'll have to put the vote.
No worries. I always do that. Thank you, Rich.
All righty. Thank you, everybody. Now moving on to, let's see, that was 5.2. Moving on to 5.3, public hearing for it's resolution night.
It's resolution night.
Public hearing for resolution 2027-03. It's the Williams quarterly report,
Yes.
and this is going to be done by Annette. Well, normally
Yes, to come
Brian
on
likes
to-
to do this because he likes to hear his name, I think, but he's sharing with you.
Right. Good evening and happy new year to everybody and to the public and teachers and CSEA staff. So exciting to start another school year. I can't believe it's 2026, 2027. So what you have in your board packet is the Williams quarterly report. You get one 4 times a year. This one is from April until June 2026. We did not receive any complaints during that time. And at this time, you will open a hearing for public comment. I think you opened the hearing, right?
Do I need to just, okay, I thought, yeah.
I did. Thank you, 7:33.
Yeah, this is the point where they want me to be quiet for a minute. It's extremely difficult. All right, that seems like we've had enough time for that meeting.
Okay.
All righty. We all good? Can we get somebody to make a motion to approve this resolution? 2027-03. I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2027-03.
I will second.
All righty, Jen?
Tegan McCoy,
Yes.
Liam Ryan,
Yes.
Paul Cagorno,
Yes.
Stephanie Amar, sorry, Malinali Lopez.
Yes.
Rich Carnation.
Yes.
Stephanie Amard.
Yes.
And Bill Adams.
Yes.
I haven't got my long distance glasses on. You're all a blur.
All right. Thank you, Annette.
All right, thank you very much.
All righty. I'm going to ask if we want to take a 3 to 5 minute break and then we'll come right back.
Sure.
Thank you. I know.
Third time that the board has taken action on this type of item, and it's worked out great. We have fantastic athletics and athletic director at the high school, and so oftentimes they go into to playoffs and championships, and sometimes we find out same week that there has to be overnight travel. And so what this does is the board allows our chief business officer and myself to pre-approve the trips and then bring them back to the board for final approval after they happen.
Yeah, at the next available board meeting,
Yes.
correct? Right. So we are approving you and Austin to approve these things as they come up.
Yeah.
Correct.
In advance, right? So thank you. This is a long time coming. I almost wanted to have it even changed to where when we publish the schedule for the different sports teams, that once we publish it, that we are actually approving their ability to go to that event. I don't know if our stuff says that. I didn't notice it, but I'm thinking that that would be the step that I would really want us to ultimately take.
The only time that you approve is when it's over 100 miles or if it's overnight or dangerous.
Right. Well, so a lot of sports is overnight. Every sport can be considered dangerous depending on what it is. Every injury that anybody gets when they're playing the sport, they felt like that was a crushing event for them, whether it's shin splints or whatever it is. But anyhow, I'm just trying to think of the way to make it as simple as possible. It's like an informed consent. So when a parent sees, hey, this is a schedule of where we're going, and this is where the team's going, if they're going to Sacramento or they're going to wherever, if the athletic director and them, they've already gone through the schedules. I know Jamie's your wife, so it has nothing to do with your wife, but Jamie's very diligent in going over the schedules, where it is, time really, I mean, all those things. It's not a casual thing. It's very, very well done and very well thought out and then how they all interact with all the other sports and the facilities and stuff. So I think that our administration, athletic director, the vice principal at the high school, you guys as well, if it's on the schedule and we post that is what that sport or that club or whatever is doing, that they should be able to go. That's between the coaches and the administration to make sure that all the facilities are done and those boxes are checked. And Jamie does a great job of doing that. And all the athletic directors have. So I just think this is an issue that we really, I'd like to just see a board policy that's just, it's done. Maybe we have to do it annually, one time each year. I don't know if the answer to that. I think we're in control.
We are definitely in control of it. I can discuss with the superintendent about just bringing them as one single item instead of having her fill out a field trip request for every single sports team for every single travel event.
Right.
And that could streamline the process.
Yeah, I mean, because then if like for example, on the wrestling schedule, it has like this, all the section meets all the way to the state meet, and it's listed where it is, to be determined on leaving times, but the parents know that this is it. The public knows, everybody knows, and we're not going to drive to Bakersfield in one day, and any other sport's the same. So I don't think we need to make as much of it as there is. I could be wrong, but.
So I think we have the adjustment which you had raised to streamline this from a couple of years ago, which I think is good now. When you were just talking, because I was looking at this and thinking about, for example, Liam with the debate club, or leadership goes out, or a band goes to a band camp overnight. And I think while this is focused on the CIF, which is a much more comprehensive and known schedule, maybe when we refine this or enhance it, we make sure that and this is primarily secondary school, high school, and to a lesser degree, maybe the middle school students, for all the things that we know, like a science camp is going to happen out at wherever in May for sixth graders or something.
Right.
And I think that might be a step that we look at to further refine this fall. If we can approve this one, they get and going, and then we add that and make it as Because as I looked at policy 6153, that's the one that says, hey, you've got to come to the board before you go to get the approval. And of course, we weren't able to manage that with some of these last, particularly when we're not sure in some athletic event endeavors, which of the student athletes are going to go to this, and you find out on Sunday night and they have to be there on Wednesday or something. So I would suggest we approve this one as presented.
Right.
And then let's bring it back and expand it to find out through the site principals and the teachers who, and many, we know who they are. I mean, they have recurring events where there's a variety of different things outside, even additional, the CIF sports events, to try and make this as simple as we can.
Right.
Because then also we can declutter our consent calendar, right? Because we can just bundle these things together when they come after the fact.
Right. Well, and to your point, but yeah, we'll approve this, but I'd like us to continue to tweak and modify. And that's why I said the clubs too.
Right.
As long as it's published and it's been there all year, and that it's not just kids, because I think it's kind of, when we bring stuff back to us to approve something that already happened, there's really not oversight anyway. But when we approve in advance, and so that way the athletic director, principals, all the club representatives, they know everybody that works in our school all has to go through a lot of training every single year of what's appropriate, what's inappropriate, all the things that you're supposed to do, not supposed to do, observe, not supposed to see anything happen. So I'm really confident our staff across the board's been trained well on everything that's appropriate. And then just knowing where these places are that they're going to go, it's sufficient. With the clubs, there might be a little bit more modification, but sometimes things come up quick, an opportunity will come up where we don't have a time to do that. So in our discussion, maybe one of the things that we would do is that the board could give our superintendent, delegate to where if something came up quick and we don't have a chance to weigh in, or it's something really super unique, they've got that, Jeremy's got the authority to use his best judgment and approve it. So, but that way they're going with it approved versus the retroactive stuff all the time. So that's it. So you want me to go? It's not a.
Any other questions or public comment?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I was looking to see if it's not a resolution. So any questions or any comments from me on the board first before I go out to public? Nope. Anybody in the public has any thoughts, comments, questions? Alrighty. Bringing it back. Can I have a motion to approve 5.4?
So moved.
I'll second the motion. For discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, alrighty. Moving to 5.5.
Warming up.
Consideration of approval of the CSBA May 2026 policy updates. This is also presented by Assistant Superintendent Brian Williams.
So we had our first reading of the CSBA updates back in May, and then we had summer. So I'm bringing them back now for second reading and consideration of approval. These ones were largely just required by California Education Code that we adopt. And so there wasn't really anything juicy, I would say, in any of these. But the next one coming up, the board subcommittee should have some fun with.
Such drama. Alrighty. Is there any questions on, as Brian described, the uneventful items in 5.5? All right. Anybody in the audience have anything that they'd like to discuss on 5.5? Seeing that, all right, we'll bring it back.
Actually, I'm sorry, I do have a question.
So, well, I'm bringing it back to the board for any other questions.
So I was just wondering about the part in this item about immigration-related parent notifications. What does that mean exactly?
It means that if anyone from ICE or any kind of immigration activity happens on campus, that we're required to notify parents within a certain amount of time.
And is that notified by text or how's that?
It will be all of the above. So we'll be sending it through Parent Square, through notices, through all of our normal channels for notification.
Okay, and then my second question to that is there an explanatory text that is going to be sent out to parents that speak in Spanish about that this is the way that they would be notified? Is there like a heads up sort of?
You mean, could we let folks know that we pass this, that if there's an issue, that we would send notifications?
Yes.
I think we'd have to.
We could. I don't think it was part of the plan, but we could.
And we'd have to.
We could discuss it. I'm not sure.
Well, I think if we could do that, and we've also been wanting to make sure that that our caregiver affidavit were on file, and that's so if immigration action does happen, that a caregiver, which has now been extended to family, friends, neighbors, who can be on file and ready to go if something does happen, that we know who to release the child to.
Wouldn't that be a different policy on what Melanie's asking for? I don't think it would be included in this. It would be a separate policy of notifying.
I think it's just letting people know of their rights is kind of what we're talking about in the caregiver affidavit. It's actually really important. And we have presented at ELACs on this.
I was just going to suggest that.
We have done that part already for the caregiver affidavit. I know that. But we can do something more broad.
I think so. And I think maybe to refresh people's memory, especially at the DLAC meetings, I think is really, really critical because, otherwise you may not be paying attention or you just wouldn't know, would maybe catch you by surprise, didn't know.
Yeah, that's no problem. We can for sure do ELAC. I think the question would be, or ELAC and DLAC. I think the question is, do we do it more broadly? So maybe we discuss that internally to see what that looks like.
Okay, great.
All right. Have we had a motion on this one yet?
No.
Okay. I'd like to ask for a motion on 5.5.
I'll make a motion to approve item 5.5.
All right. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay. What's it? I already did, yes. Yeah, we did. Is there any more public comment? No, okay, just want to double check. All righty. All those in favor of approving 5.5?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Yeah. All right. Passes. Jen? Yep, 2, 5, and 0. All righty. And then on to 6, routine information. Is there any routine information that we want to put out?
I need to update this, so I'll update this for September, the governance calendar. I should have done it this month, and I apologize for not doing it.
I just want to point out that we're starting the year off right. We're going to be out of this meeting before 8 o'clock. It's a benchmark that I would like to set and establish right now and see if we can duplicate it as many times. I got 6 minutes.
I just wonder when the pizza's coming.
I will close at 8.
Tell him, Bill.
Yep.
All right. In all seriousness, is there, just because we got a minute, maybe 4, are there workshops or topics coming up? I think to Melanie's point, maybe we want to revisit and find out. I couldn't tell you what the current tempo and temperament and temperature of ICE enforcement is in the North Bay, for example. But are there other things that we'd like to now look to come up? I mean, we got the ballot measure, but what other things might we want to look at that you'd like to take a little deeper dive on? I mean, that was the reason some years ago that we went from 2 meetings a month to 1 meeting a month. Is it maybe every other month we would have a deeper dive workshop on something? So just a thought.
First one, Bill, is I think that we need to do our board retreat and review our governance handbook. So, and also the district goals, board goals for the year. So that's been on my mind to get scheduled. And then we have a number of workshops of study sessions that we would like to engage you guys in, centered around our CAST scores when they come out and are broken down, as well as the different RENSTAR administrations. We want to make sure we allow you to have study sessions where we do a deeper dive, because it's really hard to do a deep dive up here. This will be more for the community. That one will be more for you, if that makes sense. So that's probably about 4 meetings alone. That would be study sessions. And I welcome any other ideas that you have.
Remember the one meeting that we had regarding the math progress and the things that we're going to do that we had over in our district office? I'd like to have follow-up. I'd like to have one of those a year where we just, how are we doing? How's our progress specifically to that subject?
Okay.
If other board members also wanted to do that, but I thought getting all the principals together and what we were doing, I thought that was really educational. Learned a lot, and it gave me a lot more confidence that everyone was on the same page and we were going the same direction. And I came to that meeting with high hopes and expectations of some good improvements over a sustained period of time. So I just almost a check-in, how we doing? What have we learned? What do we need to modify? Where are we winning? Where do we need to do better?
How about this? We have a governance calendar that I need to update. How about I build in some workshops, some ideas, and I'll propose them to you at the next meeting, and we can determine if they're the topics that you guys are interested in, and if the timeframes where I propose them are good.
So I have a suggestion. I don't think we need a workshop on this for the board, but I think that maybe you and I could speak offline, Jeremy, because I think it'd be great to have maybe a 10-minute presentation from the, I believe they're called the Bay Area Rapid Response. And they're this group of people that have been working on educating people about, what ICE is doing and, what are the new updates and things like that. But I think that really only requires maybe a 10-minute presentation from them. So I don't think we need a whole workshop.
Got it.
So I think you and I could just speak offline.
Sure. It's been quiet on our end in terms of reports to us as superintendents around ICE's activities. But really haven't heard much from anyone.
But I think it's good to, be updated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We
Yes.
really haven't had an update in quite some time.
And then the second thing I wanted to suggest is that because earlier in our meeting today, we had a public comment that was 100% in Spanish. I think that maybe the board could have a discussion as a future agenda item about, can we offer a resource for people that want to come and make a public comment in Spanish? Can we get a live interpretation?
Right.
Because I think it's unfair for, obviously I understood everything he said, but I think it's unfair for the rest of the board if they didn't understand.
Yeah, and we've talked about this, and Jen's been trying to work on some different translation tools. Because we were trying to not have a live interpreter every meeting, because a lot of times we're not using them. And so we're trying to think through different things that would allow us to do exactly what you're saying. But we keep running into issues. So maybe until we figure that out, maybe we do need to go back to having a live interpreter. I think that's something we need to discuss.
A really long time ago, I used to work for the city of Santa Rosa. And when I worked there, we had city council meetings that we hired an interpreter to use little microphones so that people could just quietly listen to the meeting as it was being interpreted.
Yep.
And that worked really well. And it was really inexpensive because the police department in Santa Rosa, they had their own microphone kits. So it's super inexpensive.
And that's
But
what we
just-
looked. That's what we looked into. Except it translated for us without a translator. So somebody could speak in Spanish and you could put it for English and it could translate for you, or vice versa. That's what we were exploring, but we ran into a couple of snags that, and I can't remember what those were, Jen, but I know you really worked through it. There's some aspect where we can't hook up to their equipment, and they weren't
Oh, I see.
uncomfortable with that.
Oh, I
So
see.
we're kind of back to the drawing board. We were really trying to explore that because you mentioned this before, and we were
Yes.
really trying to go down this path.
Right.
And I think in the spring we realized that we weren't going to be able to do what we wanted.
I see.
We do have the headsets.
We do. So if somebody,
If we had a live person here, but then it's having Spanish people here for them to translate to. So
Mhm.
But I think until we get this solved, your point is well taken. I think it's the right thing to do when 54% of our student body is Latino. So until we have a different solution, I think that that's something we need to discuss as a district.
Okay, sounds great.
All righty. And we have 9 seconds left, and I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Hi.
Look at that. Beat the 8 o'clock buzzer. Beat the buzzers. Yeah, I wasn't sure what he said, but I.
Oh.